Good evening, and welcome to Genova. The year is 1245. We rejoin our fledgling vampires as they have recently begun reaching out to get to know the kindred of the city. First and foremost, of course, to simply make connections and get to know the political climate, as it were. Secondly, to kind of feel out and identify if the prince has any kindred actively working against him, as he suspects. And third, to help the prince identify whether all the kindred in his city belong being kindred. That's a delicate and difficult question, and as they begin to answer it, they began with Malik the Black. They also met another sorcerer of some sort by the name of Grimvar. And after a odd trip through a fountain, they found themselves in the chantry of the strange users. Tonight they've made plans to regather, one would imagine, to continue this investigation. That being said, Genova is a strange and tumultuous city. Many strangers abound. So as we rejoin these kindred, it's important to remember that while the ages are dark, the nights are darker yet. Plots and foreigners are everywhere. And everyone has an agenda. As you all awaken for the night, you're of course down one blood point to awaken.
Yep.
You have a rather diverse list of kindred, in addition to the ones that were publicly known that you've been introduced to. So, of course, the question begins, where to start tonight? Some of these people you've been given specific locations. Others you're just told this is their region, their hunting grounds.
Well, I can remember all the names on the list. I probably could have put them right back down.
I'm going to imagine you guys had made some sort of arrangements on where to meet as well, since I assume you all stay at your own
Yeah, and
havens.
considering from the last couple of sessions, I'm down 3 blood points. I'm gonna handle that.
I'd like to do some hunting as well, if that's okay.
Probably me too.
Yeah.
I will pull up our hunting methods. Was Catherine starting with her own herd?
Yeah. Yes. Makes sense to start there.
Yep. And I do have my hunting methods open, so let me know what method we're looking at.
That posted on the page sure was.
I did post it on the page, make it easy for everybody.
Yes.
Alright, whoever wants to start with their hunting and or feeding first.
I'm ready, so I guess I'll go. Going for the last method on the list.
Alright, that is the classic Sandman.
Yep.
Alright, Dex and Stealth. So that would be, of course, granted that's something that's a little more common among the Dark Ages, as who leaves their lights on all night?
Yeah.
So your low-income residences, racks, or slums.
That's probably what it would be. One of those two. I mean, we are kind of in a bohemian area where Haven is, so.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, and I think I botched. That's not good.
Oh no!
Oh, shit.
The nights will be short. The nights will be short. Oh.
That is a botch, so not only do you fail to feed, but in fact you have alerted someone to your presence.
Okay.
So your option would be to try to stealthily flee the area. Attempt to fight your way out of whatever guards or defense might be in the area.
Silence.
Oh, that's so tempting, Holly. It is. Is it just one person?
Yeah, with a single botch, I'm gonna say that that would be just a one person at this point. So they're alarmed, but have not yet raised the alarm.
Okay. And have they seen me? Like my face?
Well, they have not. So they know you're present, but they have not yet seen you. Certainly not well enough to identify.
Yes, I'm gonna spend a dot of blood to raise my dexterity 1,
Okay.
and I'm going to try to run away.
All right. So Dex stealth to escape.
Oh wow, I probably failed.
Well, you are not stealthy about it, but you are able to at least get out and begin running. However, you get some strange looks as you are running down the street.
I'm going to duck into a side alley.
Alright, that'll give you another dex stealth then to find, or to try to flip out of sight.
Maybe a success?
Yes.
Oh, I guess I should probably hide in case they decide to search this alleyway. So,
Alright.
oh, that's better roll.
Well, some typical, not even truly guards, but kind of the ones, neighborhood, so to speak, those who have been hired or contracted for defense. Some of it is your local citizens who are armed, kind of do a quick walkthrough. But that's it. And unfortunately, you were able to stay hidden long enough for them to move past.
Well, It's not a very good start to my night. I'm still hungry too. Mm. Shit. I'm gonna take a walk down to the slums.
All right.
I suppose my +1 dexterity has extinguished by now.
Yes.
Okay. Let's give this another try. How's that? That's like 3 successes. So is that the amount of blood I get back?
Yes.
Oh, lovely and wonderful. I will then. Yes.
Good job, you did it.
So over the course of an hour in the slums, you're able to find, whether it's from a couple people, whatever the case may be, but you are able to gather three blood.
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, hello, you ginger devil.
Now I will mosey off to the meeting place.
Alright. I suppose I'm starting with my herd, so I guess it doesn't really. Determined last time that was a 6, right? Oh,
Yes.
What method do I feel like using? Be suave about this, even though it's my herd.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the most likely would be the seduction of the tryst.
Yep. Oh my god! Josie, what have you started?
Did you
Oh
add in
no!
your dice? Did you include
Oh no.
Huh?
Did you include your dice for your herd?
No. It's 1 dot, correct? Or 1 die, I forgot.
Yes.
Okay, so I have 1 more to roll. Wait, look! It doesn't matter.
No, it's still just a fail, but
Right?
Ah, really? I'm sorry to set this precedent.
Get your paws out of my glass. Well then. that technique failed. Okay. Being suave didn't work. Oh, you stupid cat! Stop it.
Is it my turn to try and fail?
We're gonna give this 1 more go. I'm assuming the difficulty goes up because I just tried.
yes. And Tiger, if you want to attempt, you're more than welcome to.
Alright. I'm gonna go for a swap seduction as well. in my little herd area. Hey, priest man, how you doing?
Oh my.
That was better.
So my 1 dot of herd adds 1 die, right?
Correct.
Charisma empathy, let's do it. Yeah.
What did
Wow.
you
That failed. Got 5, 1, and a 9.
Just having no luck with this feeding thing tonight.
Well, apparently it's not a good night to be hungry.
Right?
Is it gonna be worth it?
That's this time.
Even rolling?
I mean, I think you're only down with 1 blood.
On a straight fail tiger, remember you can retry at a +1 difficulty.
I'll go ahead and retry. Can I spend a willpower?
Sure.
I think I spent my
And
willpower.
so Catherine got 1 blood at least.
Yep. I'm gonna try my next best technique though.
I got 1 success with the willpower.
Because clearly being suave isn't helping. This hunger thing. So I'm gonna try being lusty.
I'm pretty okay with taking it with just 1 success. Like, how it's been going.
It's more fun.
How you doing?
Probably cinnamon.
Okay, where are you doing it?
Probably one of the districts.
Probably. Go with it. Hey, you actually have a dot of stone. And 3 that's good. Alright, you got 4 dice.
I failed.
Josie, look what you started for the night.
I
One of
will
us
curse us all.
Try.
So I don't get blood.
Nope.
You can re-roll it. You so choose.
Correct.
Like
On a
a-
failure, you've
Next.
not been successful.
So we all come in grumpy AF.
I got 1 after my second try.
I had 1 on my second try as well.
It's been a willpower for a blood. Guess which one's harder to get back?
The blood at this point.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I guess we should just go ahead and meet up. Like, this is... If we're going to fail, we'll fail together.
Yeah, that's true. Got 1 blood back.
Get
Maybe.
to that one and then get to that one.
Yeah.
Haven't found this character yet.
That was a lot harder than I thought it was. Holy shit. Start slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, you can just like. Look at the questions a little bit.
Oh, these are Oh yeah, very cool. That's good.
Yep.
All right. So where are we meeting? Where are we meeting up?
Well, we definitely aren't meeting up at a brothel for the child's sake.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
We could meet up at court.
That would work.
Yep.
Alright, so you're gonna meet up at the that'd be the prince's technically his warehouse.
So the Princess Warehouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a relatively large warehouse, a lot of shipping crates.
Awkward
Is there
pause.
is there a particular entrance?
There are a couple of there's like a big bay door, or like barn door type entrance. There's actually has a small dock entrance so that boats can come in and out to be loaded. There's a couple of typical um, doors, regular foot traffic doors. Um, and at night you would know that the section of the warehouse, which also includes his office, so to speak, is open as a sort of an Elysium type environment.
Okay. Well, I will go in the least conspicuous door. The one that would be
Mhm.
you would think people would be going in at night, I guess, if there's such a door.
Yeah, there's a side door off an alley. So
Okay. And then I'll head to this Elysium type place.
Hashtag same.
Mhm.
all right, it's a relatively quiet night. But they're the prince is in doing paperwork. There's not a whole lot happening. Relatively quiet, at least at this point. Although you guys have spent a couple hours hunting by this point, not very successfully. The prince will ask if there's anything you need this evening, or if you're just gathering.
I think we're just meeting up to plan ahead.
Correct.
He'll gesture and say, well, there's coffee and tea. Then I will leave you to it.
So, who shall we be meeting with next?
Probably doesn't have a list, so.
Oh. John didn't actually get you guys the last city. That might help. Alright, let me just do a little bit of editing. Or apparently this I'm going to apparently really have a desire to open HTML.
So, more awkward silence.
Alright, so I have posted on our page the list as you guys have been given it. And I will continue to update it as you guys get more information about those individuals. And then, of course, the list of kindred that's already known is below that with their descriptions and such. So whether you want to deal with the more prominent ones, some of which you guys are going to know,
Believed non-kindred.
Oh, Grimway?
yeah, he was the druid sorcerer guy you met
Oh,
at
okay.
Malik's.
So very common. Okay.
My character will look at the list. I can't read. I'm gonna go get more ice cream.
Wow. Because Tim can read out of character, Catherine will just read the list.
There's my in-character excuse for leaving and going to the ice cream.
We have to talk with them all at some point. So we could just go down the list as it is. Just kind of check it off as we go.
Yes, that would definitely work.
And we've already talked with Malik and Grimware. So
Correct. Mark them off.
I guess Luciano Simone. Bye. I think that's right. Oh, who looks cool.
So you're just starting at the top of the list, yes?
I believe that was the consensus.
That's
Okay
what
with
I
that.
propose.
What was proposed?
We're just gonna start at the top of the list and work our way down, since we don't know most of these people.
I mean, some of these do interest me more than others, but we will get to them in time, so I don't see what it matters.
Right.
The first one on the list is a noble, I see. So we should probably be on our toes.
But I've heard this particular name in passing and whispers around.
Roll me a. Let's go with wits and politics.
Ooh, this is a very large dice pool, haha. Yeah, an 8.
Hey, it's pretty good.
Probably don't have any politics.
Tell you right now, it's bigger than my dice. That,
Me?
no, hers is bigger than mine.
Now you're sharing too much.
Oh, wits politics? Oh, well, no, in that case, I have like one more die. But.
Alright, with one success, you haven't heard a whole lot. Whoever, you know, you've heard the name briefly, but that's about it.
Okay.
Old money.
Okay.
How old is old money? 1,200 dollars.
Hello. Hello.
It's at least a couple generations of the family have been successful and established themselves.
Go ahead, anyone, guys.
Or this. What's politics?
The prince is considered more of new money because he was the first one to make his family successful. Versus old money would be someone who a couple generations back had success and has been
All right.
continuing to ride on that.
So suppose we go find this guy then.
So who's first on the list?
The Italian noble person. Let's see how Simone. Yeah.
That wasn't character.
Milan.
Alright, so you're going to go find Mr. Milani.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, he does have an address listed, conveniently. And it's a rather well-to-do house. In fact, it could almost qualify as a manor, you would imagine. There's, of course, a large iron knocker on the door.
Naomi tries to reach for it first, probably failing terribly, but
If she stretches, she might just barely get her hands on it.
Lucan will pick her up so she can use it.
awesome.
Catherine like dusts and straightens herself out.
Marta adjusts her hair and also straightens herself.
A gentleman opens the door, clearly a manservant of some sort. Good evening, can I help you?
We wished to speak with a Sir Milani.
Ah, yes. Let me, do you have an appointment, or shall I announce you?
He'll look at the other side and set an appointment.
Don't look at me.
Very well, I will see if he is available. Please, come in. You may wait in the foyer.
Okay.
You hear him in the, a back room, and then he returns and he says, Lord Luciano will see you now. And he will lead you to a larger sitting room where this gentleman is waiting. He sits on a rather ornate couch. Sit might be the wrong word. Lounge might be more appropriate. Legs crossed, feet crossed in front of him. His sword leans against the edge of the couch. And he appears to be just very at ease. And at the door, the manservant kind of looks at you and, may I present Lord Luciano? My lord, your guests. And he kind of bows and steps out of the door. The man looks at you and he says, "Good evening. I'm afraid I didn't catch your names."
I, Luke of the Knights Templar.
Unknown. She'll like wait for a little bit.
I am Captain Moreau.
My name is Marta. We've come to speak pleasantly with you. We hope that you will have time for us.
I do.
How humane does this dude look?
What exactly did you wish to speak with me about?
Oh yes. He did hear me.
Kim asked how humane he looks.
Very human.
The manservant's left at this point, right?
Correct.
Okay. We came here as the first place. We're all the look at you. It's fairly new to this whole situation that we all share.
I see.
I've been trying to get a rough idea on
How we're supposed to act
yes.
around it.
Well, I suppose that's a complex subject, so it would be best, I imagine, to get a variety of inputs, but I'm pleased to hear you've come to me. My opinions do tend to be a bit more of an outlier with our kind, but I think the key to remember is the major change you've undergone is only dietary. You can still enjoy the beauty of a piece of music, the smell of a fresh breeze, the wonder of a new piece of art. You can still engage in philosophy or debate. The difference comes when you decide it's time to sit down and dine for the night, or when you decide where to lay and rest.
Our Templar hyperleaf. Whatever.
He's almost seems lost in thought briefly, or not so briefly. It's hard to tell. But he stands and he says, "Perhaps we should have a drink, and I can give you a tour of the manor."
Now I'm just
Many,
gonna skip up next to him. You said you were an outlier. What's
yes,
that mean?
many of our kind feel that somehow being changed makes them superior, makes them somehow turns humanity into simple livestock. I find that to be one, simply demeaning, but also arrogant foolishness. A man who raises livestock does not also sit and converse with them. He does not wonder at the things they create. You don't see a farmer standing in a field looking at a cow pile in awe. But we who walk among humanity, humanity which we once were part of, we can look out our windows and marvel at their creations. And just because we are no longer the same as they are doesn't mean that their creations somehow lose value. Just because I once ate steak and now drink blood does not make a priceless painting any less priceless. As he stands and turns, he bumps his sword with his foot and it knocks a crystal uh, vase type structure off the table. I don't believe anyone has celerity.
No.
Well, Tommy was standing next to him. Did you make a Dex Athletics?
Yeah, if you'd like to. That'll be a diff 8. 7, you're short.
Okay. 7 down
Make it-
short because I'm short.
Yeah, it's kind of a coffee table height, so for you it's a little more eye level.
Well, fuck.
One dice. Oh, failures. What I miss?
He knocked the face off the table, and Naomi was standing next to him, so she tried to catch it. It's at diff 7. Easy.
Could I try to catch it?
She was standing directly next to him. It's kind of on a
That's fair.
coffee table, so it just so happens it's right there.
That's fair.
As it breaks, he kind of looks down and he says, "A shame. I'm not sure what I will put my flowers in anymore." And he goes over. He picks up a small silver decanter and pours a couple of pewter chalices with what is obviously blood, and turns back to you. He says, "One for everyone, I presume."
Naomi not accepting the offering.
I am sated, but thank you.
I'm fine as well, thank you.
So is Naomi the only one that takes it?
I believe so.
No. Yeah, okay.
Tiger, I PM'd you a thing for Kim as well.
His own choice.
So he'll pour one for everyone who's interested,
Can you send that to me?
and then we'll continue. Kind of leads you guys out of this sitting room. As he does, he gestures over to one corner and says, "The tapestry in the corner there was recovered from Rome, believed to have been an original Roman piece. We sit here and we say we are greater than humanity, and yet a simple tapestry that has traveled the length and breadth of this peninsula and is valued more than some prized steeds can still inspire emotion. This was not woven by one of us. It was woven by those who would be deemed cattle. And then he kind of continues on out into the hallway.
Oh my.
As he continues down the hallway,
Naomi's gonna tug on Ethan's sleeve and like something similar to that to him.
I didn't catch all that. So
Oh, she was just like whispering the thing you sent me to Lucan.
as she continues, he kind of gestures to the stonework and the woodwork, and he says, "Weeks and months of carving, precision splitting with hammer and chisel to fit stone like the pieces of a puzzle, followed by exquisite craftsmanship in the ornate vine work inlaid into this wood. Wood that was cut and smoothed by hand. Not by our kind. The only thing our kind knows how to build is treachery, violence, manipulation." And then he leads to a kind of window way, and he opens the shutters and he says, "And look upon it, a sprawling city, built up the side of a mountain face, wrapping around a pleasant bay, the sounds of the sea lapping, the fresh breeze blowing in. These are not things that our kind recognize. And their arrogant superiority, we look down, and all they would see is pawns and strings, threads that they can tangle, pieces they can move as if this were some game board. That is not what it means to be our kind. We are blessed with the wondrous gift that we can live through the ages, that we can see wonders rise and even fall, which is truly wondrous in and of itself. That is why I say I am an outlier. I don't wish to play the games of control, the games of manipulation. I wish to live side by side with the humanity that birthed me. To indulge, to be part of it. And if I choose to play the socialite, it will be for the same reason humans choose to play the socialite. Whether that's for riches, for pleasures. But I won't do it for some grand scheme. I won't do it to control some city. That kind of power has no place in eternity. He gestures to the window and he says, on the day where I crave power over companionship, where I derive my pleasure simply from controlling others, on that day I will sit here with the shutters open and I will witness the one beauty I miss most one last time. He pulls the shutters shut and walk away. And if any of you wish, you can make a wits and survival.
Simple with survival.
Yes.
Boy, here goes an epic roll again.
Yeah.
One.
Would you like me to roll for you?
Yeah.
Alright. 10 plus 2 because you don't have any survival.
Okay.
I got 3 successes for Lucan.
One for Catherine.
I can't remember. Is it +1 or +2 if you don't actually have?
What's that? It's a plus
Whenever
one
you're
if you
rolling
don't have
stealing,
the spell.
it's what?
+1.
Okay. So you got a success.
And stealth or survival, I would probably flex a little bit on that too, because I don't. To me, that's not necessarily entirely a skill. But
That's good. I feel like there
all
are
right,
arguments against it.
yeah, I think it could certainly be a talent. It's kind of instinctual. If Ted Nugent can do it, it demonstrates that it's not entirely intelligence based.
You're not wrong.
Alright, so everybody had at least one success. You would recognize that the window there faces east over the bay.
Sunrise.
She leads you guys back through. He heads back to the sitting room and he says, my apologies, we don't need such a grim mentality all the time. I tend to get a bit melancholy when I think on the way our kind tends to treat people. It saddens me. And it saddens me what my peers choose to become.
Are you sure your peers became that, or Are you not so sure that they were always like that, even before the change in condition?
That is possible, at least some of them. And I would imagine that longevity could exaggerate those traits. Certainly seems to distance many of our kind from the compassion of humanity.
By the way, this entire time Naomi's been like staring nonstop at this dude since that fix broke.
Alright. Not long after, you know, in the sitting room, he says, "Are you sure I can't offer any of you a drink? It's quite good. High vintage. I tend to get most of my blood from those who are artists, poets, musicians. There's something about it that sings to me."
I'm fine, thank you. As he's saying that, Lucan looks like he's making a face. He's not trying to hide the fact that he's making a face.
What kind of face is he making?
What kind of face is he making?
The something about this is not sitting right with me face.
I don't know, like, this entire time, ever since the vase broke, she's been staring at the dude nonstop. So,
Hmm.
I need everyone to roll me a perception alertness.
Oh my.
Hopefully the dice like me.
Yeah. I got 4 successes, John.
we got any successes
Alright.
tonight?
Ooh!
So 4 dice.
A 5.
Kim got 9.
Bird, it's your fault.
Alright, so everyone got at least one success, correct?
Except Kim's character.
Okay. So the other 3 of you will hear from the street shouts of fire. About the time, not long after you hear that, a manservant comes in and he says, "I regret to inform you, sir, that we have lost a shipment and I will not be able to finish decorating the northern lounge as you desired. You hear the Luciano kind of sigh, and he'll say, "Very well, we can look into other options."
So, you know what's going on with the fire issue?
Well, we've had a couple of our trade routes attacked, and apparently this one they couldn't get to out on the road, so they followed it into the city. I can't tell you how many works I've had lost to fire or thieves.
Do you know who is attacking your caravans?
I do not. I just know that so far it has always been my routes, always been trade routes coming in from Florence. Not typically my caravans, but I do tend to contract when I need something brought in. Far easier than going to send someone to retrieve it. Rather, I just pay a tradesman to bring it with.
John, I have a question. Out of character.
Sure.
Where are we in relation to this pitcher of blood?
It's in the same room, sitting on the. There's a sort of a like a wine bar type, or what else do they call that? Like a sofa table, against one wall.
Okay, I'm gonna and look like I'm thinking and pace around the room. And when I'm near that part of the room, use heightened senses with my sense of smell, and I'm going to try to pick up the scent of the blood.
Okay.
Let's see if I can determine anything about it. I don't know. So, roll some kind of manipulation roll at first.
You mean just be discreet?
Yeah.
I mean, because you guys are welcome to kind of mill about. But a manipulation subterfuge if you don't want anyone to recognize what you're doing.
Okay.
And if you guys want to make a perception empathy, you can.
Why not?
I fail. You want to roll for yourself?
Thank you.
Do you want me to roll for you?
Not paying attention.
Yeah, 4.
So you matched me.
Yep.
Alright. Excuse me. So with a tie, you would kind of know that she has an ulterior motive.
Okay.
He did not succeed, so
So it's not hurting me any, whatever she's
Okay.
doing. So I'm just gonna let it go, and I'll ask her about it later.
Perception, investigation, or alertness?
for just picking up the scent of the blood, you said?
Trying to get some, I don't know, idea about the blood.
Let's go to the perception alertness.
Okay. And again, would this be detail oriented?
So, excuse me, I'm going to say yes for this one.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Are my dice showing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I had a problem with that the other night, and I just realized I should ask.
Ooh.
Alright. You would pick up, it's obviously very fresh blood. Seems to be very pure. Comes probably from someone with very high health. But it's definitely mortal blood, too.
Ready to sit back down. And I would say, is this a bad time then for us to be talking to you? It seems you have other business that might need attending to.
Well, I will have to send someone out to locate some new wall hangings. I'll have to decide how to redecorate that north room.
Would you mind if we looked into this?
By all means, feel free.
Thank you. May we start in the affected area?
Certainly. My house is open if you think you need to look within the house for anything, but the wagon should have been just coming up the street, and apparently did not.
Well, then we'll have to take a look at the wagon. Or what's left of it. Out of
Alright.
curiosity, you said these were more wall hangings?
Yeah, I tried a couple different tapestries being brought in.
Interesting. Where were they being brought from?
Well, I've had a variety of places. These most recent ones came from further east. Many eastern ports, that sort of thing.
Interesting. Thank you.
Alright. So if you go outside, the wagon has the fire's been put out, but the wagon's still sitting there. The wheels are damaged. Apparently, some of the uh, individual uh, like wheel spokes and stuff burned through. You notice that the burned wagon is wet. Someone obviously deliberately put it out. But beyond that, you can't tell much.
Servants or anything in this area?
There are not any here.
So they're basically just leaving this wagon unattended.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to examine it very thoroughly. See if I can determine the cause of the fire.
Okay. Alright. If you want to... Let's go with a perception investigation if you're trying to determine the cause of the fire.
Okay. Can I
I'll look around with her.
senses smell again to and maybe sight? I think we can use them simultaneously.
Yes. I will allow you to reduce your difficulty by 1.
Okay.
The 4 of us were the only ones that went out to check this out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
3 successes.
Alright. 3 successes. You're going to guess it has to do with the small lanterns that are looked to have been thrown into the wagon, and when they broke, the fire spread.
Makes a good deal of sense.
Is there anybody in the area just watching the wagon or what's going on?
There doesn't really seem to be much, but there is
Anyone else who's
a
taking
group of lower class citizens standing over on one shoulder, kind of talking. You know, like in a where we would have a sidewalk, so kind of a footpath off to the side, discussing the situation.
I'm gonna keep my eye on them while she's doing her thing.
They do seem to be kind of discussing what's been going on. And in fact, the manservant comes out and gives one of them a small purse of coins.
And how far away are they exactly?
Not too far.
So would I be able to try to listen in on their conversations?
Sure.
Okay, so perception awareness.
Sure.
I got 2.
All right. The manservant thanks them for their assistance putting out the fire, and that's what apparently the reward was for putting out the fire before it spread. And one of them comments that the other man comments that they've never seen animals carrying torches before, especially not in the city. They don't see animals like that in the city, period.
Oh. They just say animals, they don't specify what.
Correct.
So they can literally be referring to particular sets of people being animals or literally animals. Got it. When they mention that, I'm actually going to eye up the ground for any might seem off.
There are no prints whatsoever. I can tell you that right now.
Did they see what kinds of animals? they were?
Say that again.
Did the people happen to see what animals it was exactly?
No, that's
Well, he didn't say.
No.
Mommy's gonna tell them the person. What if he's talking about the same animals that Malik was? What do you call them? Whatever.
Okay.
Oops.
Oh, yeah.
What's this about animals?
Catherine had overheard two bystanders talking to
manservant.
the manservant about the fire, and apparently some animals were carrying some small lamps that started the fire.
And do we know this?
She does. I don't know if she shared that with everyone.
Well, I will share that with them, but I do want to follow up and just approach these guys and find out what exactly they meant by animals. Get something a little more specific than just animals here.
Well, it seemed to be bats and birds.
Bats and birds.
Flying animals that flew overhead.
Carrying torches.
Small lanterns as they dropped. It was very odd.
Odd indeed. And she will thank them for her time. For their time. She will go back to the group. He said it was like birds and bats dropping small lanterns.
Any chance I can make an occult roll?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Make one too.
I forgot we didn't use lures of any sort in this one, did we?
Nope. Well, you're doing better than I am.
Alright. Well, the two of you would recognize that there are. You've heard rumors that some kindred can manipulate animals.
Are we away from these commoners?
I mean, they kind of started moving around. Looks like they live in maybe not really a guest house, but like a house or a smaller house on one of the larger lots.
Mm-hmm.
So to speak.
Okay. Is it very likely that they'll overhear us if I speak softly?
Probably not.
I'm going to say to the others, it seems that this might have been due to some kind of power over animals by
Yeah.
the familiar kind.
Weird.
It's interesting.
The question really in my mind is if this is linked in any way to our current assignment has also been dealing with.
I suppose using animals would be a good way to not directly put yourself into a situation. No one really would suspect that it would be animals. Especially with how this And, I mean, it's unlikely for animals to behave this way.
Exactly.
Let alone want to be here. And bats, I can understand operating at night, but birds prefer the sunlight hours unless they're owls and such.
Yes.
It's kind of an odd time of day for them.
It's true. Well, I think we've discovered as much as we can here. I mean, unless any of you have any other ideas of how to obtain more information about this. I mean, I would like to talk to that servant and see where exactly in the east this was coming from.
By all means.
So she heads back in and she looks for...
He's easy enough to find.
You don't happen to have shipping manifest or a order of some type for what was in that cart wagon that was burned? Do you?
Oh, well, it had quite a few different products. It was originally mostly tapestries, fabrics, that sort of thing. Some of them were historical, some newer. A couple of Greek pieces, I believe. Coming out of Florence, I believe, for the most part.
You're something about from the east, though?
Yes, most of the pieces were coming in. The trade routes out of Florence to the east, and the pieces were from Greece.
I see. Interesting. This might be important, so I expect you to answer, but if you could, that would be most helpful. Does your lord have any one who would wish to irk him is offended?
I don't think he's had much reason to.
Anyone with any trade jealousies?
Not really. He doesn't deal in trade so much as he is a customer, as it were.
I see. Social rivals? Maybe someone wanted to buy something that he bought instead?
I guess that would be possible.
Stop biting my cord.
Well, if you have no thoughts on who that might be, I will take my leave of you. But do you have any further ideas on this? Um, she thinks for a moment. Well, I will return here and ask you. I would like to see more of your lord's collections, as it were, anyway.
Yes, I suspect tonight might not be the best for any further visits. Well, on occasion he gets in a darker mood, and I'm sure the loss of the tapestries does not help.
I understand how he could be quite upset. Thank you for your aid, and give our best wishes to your lord.
I will do so.
She returns to the group, and is the thing still there? The wagon?
Yeah. Yeah, it
I-
looks like they're getting ready to clear it out, but
Did any of the tapestries survive?
not really. I mean, there's still some of the fabric, but they've been damaged, holes burned in them, that sort of thing.
Okay. Any that might have some like recognizable stuff left on them? Ruined for that.
Bits and pieces.
She'll ask if she can go through them to anything else.
They will be pulling them. For now, they'll be just going into a storehouse, just so they're out of the street. You're welcome to peruse them from there.
That's fine by me. She turns to the others. Wow, that was eventful.
Alright. I am going to say by now it's probably well past midnight, so whether you want to dig into this further here or go from there, excuse me. Otherwise, if you guys want to wrap it up here, we can pick up next session.
There's really only one thing that I wanted to find out tonight, in addition to what we've done. I wanted to find somebody who had kindred and ask them if they knew who could have done something like that with animals.
Alright, so you're just gonna kind of ask in general? Or ask a specific kindred.
What was her name? Aranya?
Sure. She will inform you that it could be any number. Her clan is capable of that, as are a number of other ones. The Nosferatu, the Gangrel. Even some of the Romanian kindred, the ones typically called the fiends. You would know those to be the Shmitsi. Are all capable of such things.
Oh, interesting. Thank you. Well, you know where to find me if you need anything from me. Going to retire for the night.
That's probably a wise decision. I'll make sure we have a couple extra people watching for odd animals.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Alright, so everybody's going to wrap up for the night then?
Yep.
Alright. Well, and as our vampires go to seek shelter from the coming dawn, thank you, players and watchers. This has been another Genova by night, 12:45. Where the ages are dark and the nights are darker. We'll look forward to seeing you for our next night.